She was the reason why I was still in New York. Otherwise, I would have moved to Florida. One of my friends have been telling me to come over and drive for his new company he runs with his wife. 3 months ago, my friend in Florida promised to pay me $500 per day after taxes to transport cars across a section of the US. But because things were getting serious between me and my girlfriend, and I knew she didn't want to move away from New York and her family, I decided to stay. The same day that I found the text notification, I decided to purchase 2 high-resolution hidden cameras to install in my apartment to see if my suspicion was true. During the evening that day, when she was sleeping, I installed the cameras in the bedroom and living room and connected them to the Wi-Fi so I could receive feedback on my cell phone. Before I went to work that morning, I discreetly inspected the 2 cameras to make sure that they were well hidden, and then I went outside with my cell phone to make sure it synchronizes. After that, I went to work. My girlfriend usually leaves for work at 7 a.m. and I leave at 5 a.m. I thought I would have to wait for a few days before checking to see if the camera captured anything noteworthy. But boy, was I wrong. It didn't take 30 minutes after I left my apartment for the camera motion sensor to start going nuts. I just got out the subway, and I thought maybe it was my girlfriend activating the motion sensor. But I looked at my cell phone, and there he was. Patrick was already in my apartment, making out with my girlfriend in my living room. I was stunned, just standing there in the middle of the station as commuters walked past me. Patrick must have been waiting at the corner for me to leave for work. She was completely undressed, with a white towel wrapped around her head. I was bewildered. I was standing in the middle of the subway station, with commuters crisscrossing me till my leg became weak, and I took a seat in the station. They undressed and started going at it in my living room couch. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't take my eyes off it, just by how comfortable they were. I can tell this has been going on for a while. I realized that I was already late for work, but I didn't really care. I felt like my life is not worth living at this point. My world was shattered. It felt like my life was over. My anger was boiling, and I was ready to murder those 2. My supervisor called, interrupting the camera feed, causing me to lose reception. I was so angry that he interrupted me. He told me that I was late and what was going on, and threatened to write me up if I'm not there in 30 minutes. I was distrustful. I felt hopeless and angry, so much that I quit my job on the spot and hung up on him. He tried to call me a second time, but I wouldn't pick up. Before the subway arrived closer to my stop, I noticed that they were already done. I realized that by the time I reach home, my girlfriend would have gone to work because she leaves at 7 a.m. It takes her an hour to get to work. On my way back home, the adrenaline rush started to wane. It started to dawn on me how stupid it was for me to quit my job. I wanted to call back to get my job back, but I knew it may be too late. That must have been the saddest subway ride of my life. Up until that point, I didn't think my girlfriend is capable of sleeping around behind my back, not less with someone that I now consider my enemy, somebody that I did favor for multiple times. I accepted him when everybody, even his close family members, rejected him. And then he turns around and betrays me in such horrific way. How can I trust a girlfriend that sleeps with my enemy? I couldn't believe that I was going to propose to her on Valentine's Day. When I returned to my apartment, it was already around 8 a.m. I took off my work outfit and just laid on my bed, crying like a baby. I felt like I was back to square one. I lost my job, my girlfriend, and I don't even know where to live when my lease is up. Certainly, I can't move in with her because we have to break up, and I wouldn't be able to afford my apartment in 2 months without a better paying job. It would be hard to find another one. I had already put in my notice to my landlord that I am moving out. I was left in limbo. I thought about calling my boss back to get my job back, but I was pretty sure that I have been fired already. There were hundreds of people lining up for that job. No amount of apology would have helped me. Luckily, I have Florida. That was the only hope. I got up from my slump. I called my friend that runs the car transportation company with his wife in Florida. He called me months ago, requesting that I drive for him, but I had turned him down because my girlfriend didn't want to move out of New York. When I called my friend, he wasn't picking up, so I called his wife because I knew her as well. She's the brain of the operation. She runs the company's website, accounts receivables, and answers his phone calls while he's on the road. I was relieved when she said they still have a spot open. She asked me when I was able to come to Florida, and I said that I can come tomorrow to check out the place. My plan was to fly to Florida the following day. I still have $3,500 in my account. I will return the engagement ring today and get back $4,500. Total $8,000 is enough money for me. The more I thought about my future, the more hope I had. I wanted to pack up my belongings and leave without telling my girlfriend. Many people on this forum wanted me to take that route. The top suggestion was just to walk away, rise above everything, forget about revenge, and suddenly disappear from her life forever. I thought about this seriously for a long time, but that would be too easy. I was so angry at her affair partner and her. I wanted to get my revenge against them. But I decided to listen to the only part that matters in that plan, having it to be over, and then never seeing her or talking to her again. Disappearing would mean her trying to contact me for days, and I wanted it to just be over and see the look on her face. Believe it or not, but guys need closure too. I spent the entire afternoon alone in my apartment. I had enough time to think about my girlfriend and my former friend slash roommate did to me. So I decided that the best revenge is to keep her in the dark about all my plans and drop the news on her at the last minute when she least expect. When she got home that evening, it was tough not to lay hands on her. To me, she was dirty, nasty, and evil. I can't fathom why she did this to me. I lost all love and attraction to her, but I decided to play it cool, like I knew nothing. That night, sleeping next to her, I was wondering what motivated her to do such a thing to a man she claims she loves. She must have started sleeping with him a week after he moved in. I thought maybe it was a means to humiliate me, or she was just experimenting with a black man. That's it. The forbidden fruit. Experimenting. Maybe. I don't know. It couldn't have been anything else. Before we went to bed, I informed her that I was traveling to Florida because my company was sending me on a 4-day business trip. I told her that she should go ahead and sign the lease to the apartment without me, and I will sign the addendum later when I get back. The leasing company have already run our credits, and our joint income can afford the place. She agreed. That night, I booked a flight to Florida. That was the most expensive flight I have ever booked, but it was worth it because I couldn't stand to live in the same apartment with my girlfriend. Knowing that they have slept on my bed while I was at work makes my skin crawl. What my girlfriend was more interested in was finding out when my flight would be leaving. I guess so she can tell her affair partner what time he should come for her early morning quickie. I was wondering how long she was planning on going forward with this affair, carrying it over to our new apartment. Would it continue after I proposed to her? Would it continue after we get married and have kids? Thank goodness I wouldn't be hanging around for that. I told her that my flight was leaving in the morning. I needed a break from her. The following day, I left home early, pretending as if my flight was leaving early. I forgot to mention that the previous day, I changed the location of the camera to get a better view of the living room and the bedroom, and back up the footage of them having access on my portable hard drive. Just like clockwork, as soon as I left my apartment, her affair partner, Patrick, came in and they started. The hidden camera was close enough to capture their facial expression and voice record her obnoxious loud noise, even their privates. The worst of it was that they weren't using any sort of protection. How careless could she be, risking my life? He recently went to prison. Who knows what disease he got from over there? And he's basically homeless. I was worried about STDs and planned on getting myself checked out when I arrived in Florida. Before I boarded my flight that day, I was able to get my friend to call me back, and we spoke at length about the opportunity to drive for him. I already have a CDL license, so it would only take a little training to brush off my skills. I'm not going to lie, it will be a rough job driving across the country, but I love driving, and the pay is almost 3 times what I'm currently making. That will provide enough cushion for me to think about my next move. Plus, I can buy a big house in Florida and have a big backyard. Something that will cost a small fortune here in the Big Apple, where I spend almost all my income on rent. I don't know how long I will drive, but I have enough time to think about my next move. Maybe I will take my girlfriend's a-hole dad's advice and go back to school after I got enough money to pay off my tuition. I don't know. Everything is up in the air right now. I am full of emotion, so it's not the best time to make a rational decision. I had recording of the 2 days they had access, and I stored the footage on my portable drive, and the hidden camera is motion activated, so it only records when it senses motion, and it had enough memory to continue recording till I returned from Florida in 4 days. When I got to Florida that night, my friend was out of town on delivery, so I took a taxi to his house. His wife was home, and they have a huge house in Florida. I was so happy that my friend is doing well. We grew up together in Queens. Looking at his house and comparing the size of his house to my shoebox apartment in New York is a joke. I can start life here. My friend knows Patrick, and he hates him. He warned me to stay away from Patrick years ago, but I didn't listen. In a strange way, I thank Patrick for exposing my girlfriend, because if it wasn't for Patrick, it would be somebody else. Who knows? It might be another black guy that she felt like satisfying an interracial curiosity with. That evening, while I was at my friend's house in Florida, I checked the camera and saw Patrick in my house, eating my food, sleeping on my bed, having excess with my girlfriend on my bed. That was too much to bear. I was going to hold back and expose her later, after she moved into her new apartment. But watching this come back, cream pie my girlfriend, on my own bed was the last disrespect. I was in Florida, so I couldn't do anything about it. I thought about calling up some guys to beat him up, but that may turn bad quickly, and I may end up spending the rest of my life in prison. So I decided the following day that I would call her dad and give him the location of my apartment and ship overnight the keys to my apartment, along with the video recordings of his daughter getting cream pied by a black man. I bet that would get his blood pressure going. So the following morning, I made copies of the keys to my apartment and downloaded the footage of both of them banging on the USB flash drive. I same-day FedExed it to her dad. I planned on calling her dad, but I didn't have his number, so I looked up on the community college website. All I found was his office number, so I called his office several times till he picked up. He recognized me. I told him that I wanted to tell him the truth about his daughter, and that his daughter asked me to do her a favor to come with her to visit her family. But we weren't dating, just friends with benefit. I was just one of her lovers. Her main guy that she lives with is a drug dealer. I told him that I was kind enough to make copies of her apartment key, and I think he should pay her a visit around 8 p.m. would be the best time. I didn't mention anything about the footage because I don't know how to explain that one. After the phone call, he didn't say much. I thought maybe he was stunned by the bomb I just dropped on him and was waiting for the aftershock. Or maybe he thought it was a prank. But I doubt it. Maybe because of the level of details I provided. I was sure he would believe me when he received the mail. But I didn't know if it was going to work as planned. I went about my day, getting myself familiar with my future residents. My friend's wife showed me the ropes of the business and how they operate. It was basically an orientation. That evening, my friend came back and we went out to eat with his family. I had the camera notification turned off for my sanity. But around 9 or 10 p.m., it dawned on me that I should check out the camera. I was in a restaurant with my friend and his family. I couldn't tell my friend about it because they may find the story offensive because he's black as well. So I snuck out of the restaurant and checked my phone. And what I saw was the best revenge I could have hoped for a cheating partner. Her father actually showed up. He came to my apartment with 3 young men in their 20s. I assume the men are his sons, or the sons and their friends. I rewind it back, and it appeared that it took them by surprise when they opened the door. My ex-girlfriend and affair partner were in the living room watching TV when the dad and the men walked in. Patrick had a boxer on, and my ex-girlfriend had a bra and underwear. She tried to cover up herself, while Patrick had a look of confusion on his face. Her dad started yelling at her for lying about her boyfriend and going on about how he was disappointed in her, blah blah blah. I had wished there was some kind of physical violence, but there wasn't. My ex-girlfriend wanted to say something, but she didn't get any word out. Her dad didn't let her. He called Patrick all kinds of slurs, some of which I can't mention. I saw the confusion on her face when her dad accuses her of deceiving the family and demand why she did that. The reaction on her face was priceless. She didn't even know where to start, and I was laughing my butt off the entire time. I couldn't imagine anything more satisfying than watching her disappointment, angry, snotty dad, seeing her precious little angel with everything he despised. While her dad was yelling at her and calling Patrick all sorts of slurs, he was expecting a fight, thinking Patrick would engage him. The old man came ready for war. No wonder he brought 3 men with him. The old man was ready for whatever. But Patrick quickly snuck out when the coast was clear and left my ex-girlfriend to fend for herself. Her dad really let her have it. He went all slurry on her as well. He only stopped short of disowning her. And the best part is, I got it all on camera. After her dad left, she was shell-shocked and all alone. She called me, crying, and asking me when I was coming home. She didn't know then that I orchestrated the entire thing, that I was the one that tainted a father and daughter's relationship forever. Their relationship would never be the same, and she had me to thank for it. She told me on the phone that she wanted to confess about something. She did, but couldn't tell me on the phone. I told her that she should tell me when I return home. I tried to console her to stop crying and that I would be home in 2 days and she could tell me all about it. Well, the following morning, she didn't invite Patrick for a quickie. Fun is over. Come to find out, she had no contact with me. I walked around with a big smile on my face. She made her bed. Now she should lie in it. Well, later that day, my STD test came out clean. She found out the day I was supposed to fly back to New York that it was me that blew the whole thing up. I guess her mom told her, and she was able to put 2 and 2 together. I was on my way to the airport when she called me, admitting that she cheated, but I didn't have to go as far as I did, recording and destroying her family. I told her that she destroyed my life, and that I was about to get married to a 304. She found the 2 hidden recorders and was threatening to sue me. I planned on speaking to my lawyer when I get to New York to see if she had any legal grounds. Who knows, maybe she does. Her excuse for cheating was that it was just ex, and Patrick meant nothing to her. The way she said it was like she was trying to minimize it, like it's no big deal that she may have given me a deadly STD because she was doing both of us without protection, like I should get over it. I told her that our relationship is over, that we are done, and that I'm coming back to New York to pick up my belongings and move to Florida. She threatened to sue me for invading her privacy and revenge PORN, but I told her to go to hell. My only regret was that I should have let her explain to me how the relationship with Patrick started. I am guessing it started about a week after Patrick moved in, but it would be nice to hear it from her. I am currently living in Florida now, shipping cars across the southern parts of the country. Sometime I venture up north. The last time I heard about my girlfriend, she finally found a roommate. Her relationship with her dad is still shaky, but I don't have any detail on that. I haven't heard anything about Patrick since then. Maybe he's back in jail. I don't know, and I don't care. Thank you for watching to the end of this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And also please don't forget to write your opinion on the comment section. Thank you and have a wonderful day.